for those not familiar with the Average Nerd podcast, I guess I'll try to do Juan, our regular host, justice with this intro. Okay, all right. So, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everyone? It's your Average Nerd podcast, and I'll be your host today, Dave. I'm joined along with one of my best friends on whom I could depend. She was the one named Karen.
Hi. Is this where I say who I am and what I do?
Yeah.
I am Karen. I generally go by Karen Broccoli in the digital space. Dave and I have known each other since the second grade.
Yeah.
And used to copy his math homework from time to time. He didn't know that.
What? I feel like you're like the smart one.
Exposed. Dave has a heart of gold. I can attest to this. I'm so excited to be here. I am probably the filthiest of casuals on this panel, but I'm just mad for Sailor Moon, and it really, really has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
And it really was a special time in my life when Dave and I were just obsessed with this show and this manga and this everything, just so badly wanting to consume as much of it as possible. Like it really was just a really great time to share with you. So I'm just going to say that now.
Oh, thanks, Karen.
Ah!
I love it.
TT. Thank you for all the bits, guys. And let's see. Thank you, Karen, for those kind words. My gosh, to collect myself here. And then next up we have the pretty guardian of the arts, DJ Kirkland. I don't know which way to point.
It's me. My gosh.
If you guys don't remember, we actually had DJ Kirkland during one of our first streams ever during the Nerds Night weekend. Yeah.
It was a really fun stream. We had a really good time.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about yourself for those that aren't familiar.
Okay, hi, my name is DJ. I'm a professional comic book artist, and I also do a little bit of work in the game space and a little bit in the animation space. I draw comics professionally, and I've been doing that for about the past 6.5 years. I have a graphic novel that's out now. It's called The Black Mage. You can pick it up anywhere that you buy comic books, whether that be Amazon, whether that be Barnes & Noble, wherever. You should be able to find the book. It's called The Black Mage, and you should be able to buy it. It's a great graphic novel about a story that I think a lot of people in communities of color can identify with, being the one of very few or the only person of color in a predominantly white space and navigating that. But it's not just about that. It's about our main character, Tom, who goes to this magic academy called St. Ivory, and he is the first Black student to attend that school on a diversity scholarship. And as it unfolds once he gets to the school, is that there is a nefarious plot happening in the underbelly of the school, and it's up to Tom and his familiar Jim and the well-meaning white girl ally named Lindsay to take down the evil underbelly of the school. It is filled with love and reference to Sailor Moon, because again, that's why we're here today. That's how to wrap it all back up to Sailor Moon. That was the first show that I ever watched that I fell in love with, and it made me become an artist today. So lots of nods to Sailor Moon in the book. If you like Sailor Moon, anime, Final Fantasy, all that stuff, it's all of that mixed into a really quick, fun read that I think Hope reads like an OVA or something. But yeah, you should check it out. It's fun.
Ooh, I haven't kept up, but is Volume 2 already out? Because I've read Volume 1.
We are working on Volume 2 right now. It's taking a little bit of time. The pandemic has kind of slowed things down for us a little bit, but we are absolutely going to make a book 2. And the outline and the premise that we have for book 2 is going to be wild. It's going to be fun. But again, if you missed it before, it's called The Black Mage. You can pick it up at any fine retailer of comics all over the internet.
Oh yes, and 28 Savage Days. Thank you for answering that question, DJ. We are actually part of a book club in our Discord. So Karma will probably read that for our book club, and yeah, you could find it.
Yes, do it.
Nice. Thank you, DJ, again for joining us. We're really happy to have you again.
I'm happy to be here. Any opportunity I have to talk about Sailor Moon, it's a good day.
Yeah, there was like a few times where Jorge and I were like, hey, when can we bring back DJ and stuff? And I was like, man, this is the perfect opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad Jorge can't be with us today because it's his niece's birthday. So happy birthday, Jorge's niece.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And then
Not that she'll see this.
Well, maybe. Never know. But last but not least, we have the NerdyCurious cosplayer and lover of K-pop, Rach.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
First off, I have to say, DJ Kirkland, your nails look amazing.
Thank you. I'm so bad at doing them myself, so but I'm glad they look okay on stream.
That's all that matters. As long as they look good on stream.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For those that don't know, Rach, just tell us a little bit about yourself and the NerdyCurious podcast.
Sure. My name is Rachel. I hail from Vancouver, Canada. I have a blog, stream, and podcast with 3 other wonderful women. And we talk about all things fandom. And I'm really excited to be here because Sailor Moon was, if you told 10-year-old me that I would be talking about Sailor Moon at this very moment, I think she would have been really, really, really happy.
Same.
This is why I'm in my pseudo cosplay Sailor Moon sweater, even though it is 100 degrees outside. But for Sailor Moon, I will wear this. Yeah, I have playing cards. I have trading cards. I watched the show multiple times through the Japanese version. And it's been a while since I've done a full original run watch through. So I feel like that's my next to do on my massive list, my massive bucket list. So I'm really happy to be here. So thank you for the invite.
Yay, thanks for joining us. So, man, I feel like we have a really good crew here to talk about the show. We're really excited about these what we have lined up and stuff. But before we do go ahead with the programming, why not take a look at the place that we are donating to today, the BTFA Collective. Take a moment to look this over. So BTFA stands for Black Trans Femmes in the Arts. And then why we need to support is, let's go over the statistics right here. The life expectancy for trans women of color in the United States is reportedly 35 years. In 2020 alone, 33 transgender lives have been violently taken. So, yeah, that community really has it rough and everything. We're actually supporting this group because DJ actually had it as part of his list of organizations that he's supporting as well. DJ, would you like to tell us a little more about?
Yeah, I think it's super important to really create space for some of the most marginalized people in the LGBTQIA plus community, and that is trans women of color, and particularly Black trans women. The fact that we are halfway through 2021 and there have been over 30 lost trans lives because of the full-on vitriol and hatred towards trans women, and it's so unfortunate, and it's really upsetting to me personally. But I think as an artist, I think it's so important to provide space for trans people of color, especially trans Black women, the space and the autonomy to be able to create work that will remain a part of this world beyond their lives, and hopefully their lives will be much longer than the typical expectancy of 35. I think about our previous generation. We lost a whole generation of queer elders to the AIDS crisis. And we're facing a crisis right now still with COVID-19 and communities of color being some of the most heavily affected by COVID-19 as well, which would also affect trans folks as well. So I think it's important that we create a space where queer people can express themselves and create art in ways that they feel supported and that they can also be supported monetarily as well, because it's not just about equality, it's about equity. And so when we talk about equity, it's about providing the same amount of resources and opportunity to those that are normally not given those opportunities for. So the BTFA Collective, I think, is a really great organization, and to be able to give back to my community and to be able to give back to a community of people that I love so dearly, which are like my trans brothers and sisters and my non-binary trans siblings as well. So to be able to do this and just like to give it a platform and to talk more about it and just to spread awareness is what I feel responsible to do that as a male identifying queer person in this space. Like, I understand the level of privilege that I do have as a male presenting person in the society. While I do have marginalizations, like, I can maneuver in this world a little bit safer than those of our trans counterparts. So anything I can do to support that community and through something that I think is important as the arts, I'm happy to do.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
DJ.
That's great.
And again, for those that would like to donate, just follow these instructions by hitting !donate. And if you donate, just go ahead and DM our Instagram account some proof of donation, and I will do a post-it note sketch of any character dressed up as a Sailor Senshi. So any person in real life or any character in pop culture, whatever you want, dressed up as a Sailor Senshi. So yeah, thank you again. Yeah, such a great cause, and man, it's just hearing about like their story and everything. Just it hits me because it's just, man, there's just, I don't understand why these kind of things have to be going on for people and everything. So
yeah. So anything that we can do to help each other out, I think, is a blessing. Mutual aid, man. Like, mutual aid is what we need to really support each other. So it's awesome that we have things like this to support.
And definitely another reason why a bunch of us streamers got together to come up with this event is to just uplift voices and everything. That's why we named it Rise Up too. So yeah, thanks for being with us today, DJ.
I'm happy to be here. Like I said, anytime I get to talk about Sailor Moon, it's a good day.
Yeah, so shall we get started with the outline? Let's see. Oh, actually, you know what? I actually skipped something. We normally do the podcast start off the podcast with a GTK, getting to know you question of the day. So today's getting to know you question is, if you can make up your own galaxy or choose an existing one, what would your sailor name be, your outfit color and look, and what would your powers be? Let me go ahead and type this in the chat so you could look this over too. I even put ask audience. Oops. The audience. If you'd like to put in share your ideas, please feel free.
It's all good, Dave, because I have all of my show notes written out to like the second of what I want to say, and it never comes out the way I want it to say it. But I have like notes of like, please put in chat this, and I'm always terrified of just like copy and paste the wrong thing over. It's all good. This is a hard question.
I workshopped this in my mind.
I know, I did too, and now I'm like, oh, I'm on the spot now. So what did I even say?
If you guys need more time, I actually have some of the average nerds shared some of theirs. So if you guys want me to, I could go over those first.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do that. Give us an example to start from.
So shout out to Juan, who normally hosts the podcast. Him and his family, with newborn Ben, is at Disneyland right now. He said that he'd want to be called Sailor Milky Way. His colors would be brown, and he'd shoot chocolate, caramel, and nougat out of his wand. And he'd have a brother named Sailor Snickers who had all the same powers, but then the only difference is that he's just a little nuts. Juan with the puns.
I see what he did there.
And then
I love
we also
that.
have Av. Shout out to Beehive Midtown, beehivecollectibles.com. He's actually setting up the store right now, but his would be Sailor Sweet Tooth because he's a fan of sweets and everything, and his suit would be all white. I'd probably say I'm surprised that he didn't do any like bee themed like things, but I guess sweets could be bee themed too.
Mhm.
And he'd shoot sugar crystals.
I love that.
I'm sensing a theme here with the food references.
Mhm.
Yes, mine was a food one. So I'll share mine. I wanted to be Sailor Ramen. And I hadn't nailed down the colors yet, but I feel like the bow would be made of like chashu, and like I would have this long, wavy, like ramen hair.
Yum.
And the little thing in the center, the like little brooch, would be like half of a perfectly cooked hard-boiled egg.
Ooh, those are the best.
I haven't figured out what the earrings would be yet. It'd be like, I don't know, like enoki mushrooms or like something. But my power would be just like, it'd be very similar to Neptune in that, except it would be broth.
That sounds amazing, and also now I'm hungry. So
I know, now I want ramen. Oh my gosh.
It's almost lunchtime.
Oh, excuse me. It wouldn't be a fully hard-boiled egg. It would probably be, it'd be closer to soft-boiled. Not too runny, though. I like a nice, bright orange yolk.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, those are the best.
Oh my god. I guess for mine, I guess I would be like, I'm looking at my nails and I'm thinking about the color palette, which is probably what my color palette would be for my outfit. So probably like something really like Sailor Neon or something, and like it's all like light based and just like basically blinding people with like neon colored beams.
Awesome.
So it'd be like Sailor Venus, like crescent beam, but like it's just like neon colors. People like, oh my god, it's so cool! I can't see.
I love it.
Yeah,
all the colors, in my opinion.
Great.
I'm really big in constellations, and my favorite constellation, I know, I'm a nerd. I have a favorite constellation, is Cassiopeia, which is the crown.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
So that would be my Sailor name. I'm a big numbers person, so I'd probably have some sort of power that involves shooting numbers at people and things. Again, I'm a nerd. And for colors, I love purple, so like an iridescent purple. That would
nice.
That would be my
nice. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, guys. Let's go over the chat and see what some folks wrote. And hello, Nerd and Cheese. Welcome. So looks like Sam has something. Let me go. It looks like she's kind of thinking aloud in the chat. But let me find it here. All right, here it is. So Sam's Killer Queen of Hearts, who will be streaming later today for the Raid Train, doing some tarot. And hers is Sailor Heart, pink outfit, power to make people just be chill and nice.
Oh, that's sweet. It makes all of us sound violent.
That's super aggressive.
I know. Hey, Yoko, thanks for the bits. Hope you're staying cool out there in Washington.
To be fair, I always pictured like my numbers power to be like that meme where like when people are confused and like the numbers appear, like that's the kind of power I was like thinking of.
Let's see. So mine's is actually oh man. Horror related. My name would be Sailor Double Tap, and I'd be from the horror verse. And my main colors would be black with blood splatters, and some rusty tones there too. My main weapon would be a machete, and then let's see, let's see here, and my powers would actually be I'd want to be able to control a transforming ghost ship that could transform, and I could hop in it like a mech suit.
That's awesome. It's giving like Gundam and Dead by Daylight, like
Yes.
a combination of those things.
Rach's powers is to make people confused with math. Yeah.
I'm like a Pokemon, confusion.
Yeah.
And Scoot says, so Dave wants to be Jason. Pretty much. Jason Voorhees. So thank you for the GTK, guys. Let's see, what do we have next here on the lineup? So going back to the main series, Sailor Moon, how do you feel about the show being such an iconic series that helped pave the way to the popularity of the anime here in the US? Let me drop that in the chat here. Because I feel like the anime actually helped make anime a popular thing in the US, because they started showing more of it in like Cartoon Network, more different animes and everything.
Okay, so I'm not sure if people have seen the you could probably find it on YouTube, but there was like a recording of like a press meeting about like them pitching like an Americanized version of Sailor Moon that was like it was like half live action and like half animated, and it's wild. You can find the clips of it on YouTube, because I think they showed it at like Anime Expo in like 2002 or 3, but it was wild. And so like some of the toys from that are actually like out from when it was released in the 90s were from that pitch to make like a US adapted version of Sailor Moon, like the moon cycle. That was never a thing in the show, but that was something that they had in the like American pitch package for a live the Americanized version of the series originally. But that show it's just so good. I think that show manages to, at least with the anime, it manages to kind of like capture what people like about anime, but it also appealed to both like to boys and girls and like everybody else in between. Like it was just really appealing. It had really cool art, and the characters are just so good. Mm-hmm. So, and like the transformation sequences are beautiful. So I think that was like the first, like when I think about being a kid and watching anime for the first time, like I just remember watching Sailor Moon when it premiered on television and being so captivated by like how beautiful that show was. I was like, this looks so different than everything else that I've ever watched. It looks different than the stuff I watch on Nickelodeon. It looks different than the stuff that I watch on Saturday mornings. Like it just had a completely different vibe and tone, and it was cool. And everything about that show, like visually, still really holds up really well today. But it's just so captivating and charming. And I think those characters and that story and those designs are honestly timeless. Like people recognize this character for decades.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Yeah, I 100% agree. When you say the word charming, like that perfectly describes what Sailor Moon encapsulates as a cartoon. Because I think as a kid watching it, you felt like they didn't really talk down to you. It was very much like a mature animated series, but like you felt like, you know, you were grown up watching it. Like that was like something that was like really big for me. It was like, ooh, this is like, you know, I feel like, you know, I'm older than what I'm like, you know, what I currently am. And like, you know, they were in high school, they were teenagers, like I was kind of a little bit brainwashed into thinking like that's what high school was like, and I was a little disappointed when I eventually got there and was like, this is not I'm deeply upset that this is not the same. but also it's like, you know, there was like this whimsy and like you got to believe in magic and you got to believe in love and like destiny and like all those themes as a kid. You're just like, you know, whenever you weren't feeling, you know, like you belonged anywhere, you like when you watched it, you felt like this, like these were your friends. These girls were your friends. So that's what really, you know, made me connect with the show.
Like, it's honestly a really beautiful found family story, and I think a lot of people really gravitate to those kind of narratives, and I think especially queer folks, I really identify with those things because so much of our existence is finding people that like love and accept us for who we are, and so much about Sailor Moon is about love and acceptance, and you know, and sticking together with your friends. Like, and I think those themes are so easily transferable into real life. So you can have your friend group like the Sailor Guardians in real life. And and even though like there's a ton of filler episodes in the original 90s anime, I think some of the filler is actually kind of the best parts of the show.
Yes.
Because you really like, those girls are so well-rounded and fleshed out and fully realized characters. Even in the first season, like they're so fully realized, and I feel like you feel like coming away from that first season, especially the uncut version of season 1, you know so much about them. So when the end of season 1 happens, it is devastating what happens at the end of the first season. And it's just, there have definitely been shows since then, obviously, that have done really good jobs of like making fully well-rounded characters that we grow to love and everything and support. But like, those characterizations of those characters are just so good and perfect. Like, I love them. I love them so much.
Yeah, definitely. One other thing that I enjoyed about the characters is that they all weren't perfect.
Yeah, they weren't perfect.
They all had to learn through like things that they were struggling with, and you kind of, and especially in those filler episodes, I feel like that's where you get to see more of the character development of them growing as you know, not just Sailor Senshi and stuff, but then also just as them in their reincarnated normal lives. So yeah, I really like that point of the story too. Karen, would you have?
Yeah, I feel like Sailor Moon came to me at a really interesting time in my life because it was about middle school girls and I was in middle school. And so just kind of going back to that idea of the found family, like that's, I mean, just in retrospect, that's so much about what being that age is kind of like breaking away from the family you're born into and finding this other family and really embracing like who you are, like as an individual, and that power that's within you, and that potential that is really only brought about through kind of breaking away from the familiar and kind of extending yourself and rising to the challenge. And I think that's part of what drew me to it. It's you know, it's a bunch of girls, and yeah, they're like really pretty, and they, you know, they have all these cool powers, but like the fact that the weight of the world is literally on their shoulders, and that it's their teamwork and their just like their grit and their persistence is what helps them overcome. It's a really big thing for any adolescent girl to overcome. And the fact that the big, like the one anime to like really penetrate the US market is one about a bunch of middle school girls like going through those toughest times of their lives and saving the world multiple times is just like, what a gift, you know. It could have been something completely different.
Most definitely. Yeah, I really like the points that you guys brought across. Because yeah, I agree with everything. That's how I felt about the anime. What made me fell in love with it and everything. But DJ touched on the point of the art of the anime too, because I think we spoke about this in our AAPI podcast episode and also the anime episode that we've had. There weren't a lot of shows that were, Asian influenced or, just Asian in general. So growing up, that's something that I sought because growing up with my grandparents, like they kind of instilled like, Filipino values in me. So I kind of was always constantly looking for something that was like me, basically. So and I found that through anime back then. What's this called? They'd have it on Sci-Fi Channel. I don't know if you guys remember, during the summer they'd have like summer anime TV shows and movies like Project Echo, and everything. And I think once I saw Sailor Moon on, I was like, ooh, go watch this show. And then I just fell in love with the art. Like even like it's not like some of the anime where you just see like the same color palettes throughout all the episodes and everything. Sailor Moon even had like mood color palettes and everything, depending on like the mood that they're trying to set. And especially the music, I feel like, was a big part of the show that I enjoyed. I had like cassette tapes of music just recorded. Like I used to record with my little recorder to the TV, just so I could like get the like theme music or transformation music and everything. So yeah, I was such a big nerd with all that stuff.
Yeah, I know for me, like I talked about this on another panel about Sailor Moon not too long ago, but because we were actually talking about the 2 Sailor Moon Eternal movies that just dropped on Netflix at the beginning of the month, and I was saying that like with the original anime, so much of what I think a lot of people are really inspired by is like, again, like the art and the vibe of that show, and particularly the backgrounds, right? Like there are whole like websites and Tumblrs dedicated to just the backgrounds in Sailor Moon because they really are so iconic and they really stand out. And I think it really kind of played into how like dreamy and magical and romantic that the series was, where they were so willing to play with color in a way and use like pinks and purples and teals and stuff like that to paint this background of this like fantasy version of Tokyo, and it really just kind of made it really like inviting and warm and like 3-dimensional. Like it's like I look at those backgrounds on a regular basis, like to like incorporate that kind of look into my own work, and they just went balls to the wall with color and just experimented and did all kinds of different things. And even with the characters in those shots, they would completely like go off the character model colors, like the color sheets for the character models, and do something to really evoke an emotion, a mood, like a moment in time of the show. And those things are so impactful to visual storytelling as a medium in general that it's looking at that show is honestly a masterclass in like how do you invoke a vibe or a mood or tone or setting with color, not just the place, but with color itself. And what kind of emotions and feelings do these colors combined together elicit to the viewer? It's incredible. Like I eat that shit up. It's so good. I love it. I love it. Like I'm such a color nerd, so like I'm obsessed. I love it.
Oh, I totally get it, and I think a few of us totally like understand that because we're all kind of design nerds too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I speak for myself, but yeah, I feel like Karen, we've always talked about design at some point, and I feel like Rach is into design also, so we totally understand that. Let's see here what people are saying in the chat. It looks like Gal needs to catch up with the series. Definitely give it a watch. I know you're getting into Demon Slayer, another good anime. And then Yoko, she binged Crystal, and she's thinking about going back to the classic series. Definitely, I've been enjoying my rewatch. Actually, I binged through Crystal, but then I'm also rewatching the classic series. And I am just falling in love with it all over again. And just like noticing so many other things that I didn't back then when I was first watching it. So yes, definitely recommend revisiting it.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth a rewatch. If you don't have the energy to watch all 200 episodes of the original series, people have made some like essential, like these are the episodes to watch if you just want to get like the core story. Like, and they have like a suggested you should watch these, which includes some filler, and then they have one that's just like you just want to mainline through the plot. But there are so many great filler episodes that are worth watching because they're just really funny and charming. Like it's like, especially like in season 1, you cannot miss the episode where the fat cat falls in love with Luna.
Oh yes,
it's one of the best episodes of that series. Period. And like Zoocyte being covered in rats. It's so funny. It's such a good episode.
Love that episode.
Yeah,
what was his name? Hercules in the English one, but his name in the Japanese is Rhett Butler.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that cat.
Yeah. Like it's such a good filler episode. Yeah, so it's definitely worth your time because it's so good. It's just so good.
Most definitely.
I think one of the things about the original series is it holds up. There's nothing that I wouldn't really want to change anything. I mean, yeah, there are a couple of like things that, could have been done better, but as a whole, I feel like it's one of those series that's just like, it's so perfect in every way. And when Dave mentioned the music, I was obsessed with that first series soundtrack, like obsessed. Like Rainy Day Man was one of like my favorite songs. Oh Starry Night, the song that plays when the crystal comes together is like one of the most beautiful songs in any anime. I'm just like, how is this series so beautifully crafted, as well as having amazing voice actors and has great music. Like it holds up in its entirety.
Shout out to Jennifer Love Hewitt, right? Didn't she sing that song?
Oh, Starry Night?
No, with the rainbow crystals turning into the silver crystal. I think that was Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I am like I'm like slightly super biased when it comes to the original 90s dub of the show because one of my biggest problems that I have with it is the amount of like queer erasure that the 90s dub had from the series. That's why I can't watch the original the Deke dub. I like it makes my skin crawl. However, Terry Hawks is still the best voice for Usagi, period.
Yeah.
She was the best voice for her, period. Like I honestly really liked the voice cast from the Deke dub a lot. The show was just marred by a bad script. But even though the script I think is personally bad, but like the essence of the story was still there and all of the emotion, a lot of it was still there. But yeah, like if you're gonna watch it, I would suggest watch it subtitled. Or watch it with the new Viz dub that's on Hulu, which is a lot closer to the Japanese version of the show. But yeah, those songs in the 90s dub growing up, like Rainy Day Man, those songs are bops. Like those songs are bops.
Yeah.
Like it's undeniable. It is undeniable how good those songs are. Yes, I also own the 10 disc Sailor Moon Memorial soundtrack. I've had it on my computer for like over a decade.
Yeah, Gal has that collection too, original soundtracks in Japanese. Yeah, my favorite English song was the one when Amy was leaving. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah,
but it was so sad because it's like you really think that she's leaving to go study to become a doctor, but then she ends up staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, before we continue on with the rest of the outline, thank you guys for that. It's really nice hearing like everyone's a story of how they fell in love with the TV show. Definitely feel free to share that in the chat if you'd like. But yeah, I started a giveaway with exclamation point. Let's see here, Rise Up, and we have a little over an hour. We'll be giving away some AAPI RiseUp stickers, as well as a $25 Beehive gift card.
Ooh.
So we'll be choosing those winners at the end of the stream. I do also have this Q-Pos skit, Queen Serenity or Princess Serenity, to give away. I think if you guys stick around, we'll see how we could how we'll be doing this giveaway later. It's actually through trivia, and we're gonna be testing some of you guys, and whoever gets the highest score gets this. And you guys could play too, Karen, DJ, and Rach. So
Yeah, no. As much as I love Sailor Moon, my knowledge of it is very limited now. I mean, if you asked me those questions like when I was 10, I would have had those answers, but not now.
It's multiple choice, so I think that'll help. So let's see.
Say that, but
going to stop the music here, and then I will share this. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the characters that we love. First up, we have Sailor Moon. She was the main protagonist of the TV show. You guys might be familiar with this meme from, was it 2019, 2020, where a bunch of folks were redrawing this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got this, Rach, says Wicked Dime.
I'm glad you have faith in me.
Let's see. And for those that don't know, Tsukino Usagi is her Japanese name. And all their Japanese names actually have translations. So Tsukino Usagi is a rabbit of the moon. And then it's actually a originated mythology from Chinese or Japanese culture, where you see this figure on the moon of a rabbit, and it's making mochi. So yeah, let's go ahead and just talk about the main character of the series, Sailor Moon, as I go through some of these images.
I mean, she's a legend, she's an icon, and she is the moment. Like she always will be. So what's funny is that I'm sure that all of you in the panel have heard this before when talking to people about Sailor Moon that have maybe they know of it because obviously she's embedded into pop culture at this point. But I'm sure that a lot of you have heard people that are I couldn't really get into Sailor Moon because she's always crying all the time. And it's tell me you only watched part of season 1 without telling me you've only watched part of season 1. Because yes, in the beginning, in season 1, especially in the beginning, it's she's a 14-year-old girl that she's I just want to go to school and play video games and date cute boys. And now I'm tasked with the responsibility of finding these Sailor Guardians and a princess. But I just want to go eat snacks. I think people forget. I think this happens a lot with anime, that people forget that these are kids. These characters are kids, and so a child crying is accurate. That's gonna be part of it, of what's happening. But Usagi, as the series goes on, especially once you get to the tail end of season 1, at that point Usagi understands her responsibilities. She knows that she is tasked with finding the princess, and then when it's revealed that she actually is the princess, she's oh my god, I have all of these responsibilities. I am the reincarnated princess of the moon, and I'm sworn to protect this planet. And she steps into her power, and you see that evolution of her character from season 1 through season 5 of the anime. And by the time you get to season 3, which is my favorite season, which you had a clip from. Well, actually, go back to that slide of her with her head in her knees.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
This is from the second to last episode of season 1 of the anime, and something super devastating happens in this episode. I don't want to spoil it for people that are in the chat that haven't watched it yet, but it is so powerful and beautiful what happens in this moment of what's going on in the series. As they approach the final battle, it's heartbreaking. and you really see her step into her power then, which I think is so special and so impactful. And okay, I can't believe that I have this much Sailor Moon trivia in my head, but yeah, like I can't do basic math, but I remember everything about this anime. But in the original 90s run of the show, this final episode was actually 2 episodes combined into one. And it's such a bummer because that it was presented that way, because when you watch it on Hulu, if you live in the United States, all of the original series is streaming on Hulu. When you watch it, it's 2 episodes, and it is beautiful what happens there. It's such a special moment. It's really, really, really good, and you never got that in the original Deke dub of the series, because they're like, oh, this is too
might have been too violent, I guess, maybe
too violent for kids. But yeah, I mean, that's such a beautiful character moment with all of the inner guardians that happens there, and it's just, man, it's so good. It's just so good.
Yes, definitely. I mentioned that they're not perfect characters, so yeah, Usagi is definitely like the whiner of the group. But then she finds the strength, or I guess let me go back to this slide too. In her past life, she even took her own life. I don't know if just because Endymion died and everything, but then you kind of see how far she grows as a character, being willing to even sacrifice herself for her friends, not knowing if she's going to get out of a situation, and not just sacrificing herself for her friends, but for the whole world too. And it's just I really enjoyed the theme of rebirth in the TV show, because not only does she like give people second chances, not just for friends and everything, but then there are even moments where she'll she'll even like give a chance to the enemies. So yeah, it's just I really love those themes of like rebirth and redemption. Really great themes.
Forgiveness, all of it.
Yes, forgiveness. Karen or Rach?
So I'm just going to answer a quick question that was in the chat. So Tim Manuel Miranda, I was asking, does the original Hulu include the queer erasure episodes and dialogue that were excluded from the US run, or is it uncut? So when Sailor Moon was put on Hulu in 2014, that's because Viz Media now has the license to both the original anime series and Sailor Moon Crystal. So when Viz Media got the rights to the series, they did a brand new dub. So it's a brand new dub with a brand new voice cast. So if you've watched the Eternal movies on Netflix, it's the voice cast of all of those characters. They reprised their roles from redubbing the original anime in the Eternal movies. So if you've heard that voice, if you've watched the Eternal movies in English, it's that same voice cast for all the Sailor Guardians and all the characters in it. But yeah, so it's completely unedited, uncut. I remember that announcement at Anime Expo in 2014 when Viz Media announced that they got the rights to Sailor Moon, and I lost my mind because that meant more DVDs, new Blu-rays, all that stuff, which I now own. But yeah, it's all unedited, uncut. You can watch it both in English or in Japanese, and it's great.
Nice.
And if you live in Canada, it's streaming on Crave.
Oh. Do you stream that on Crave, Rach? You're in Canada.
No, I actually don't have a Crave account, so I'm gonna have to get on that because I knew that it was on Hulu, and I'm like, darn it, I can't access that. But now that I know,
yeah, it's streaming on Crave in Canada. Yeah, Sailor Uranus and Neptune are not cousins; they are lovers.
Oh my god!
Yes,
they are full-on lesbians.
We will go into that once we get to those characters.
Yeah,
those are two of my favorite. Some of my.
They're the best.
Too.
Incredible.
Karen or Rach, would you like to share anything about Usagi Tsukino Usagi?
Yeah, I would like to say that I liked the fact that she was a crybaby, that she didn't want to be a Sailor Senshi. Like, she wanted to be a teenager, a kid. Like, this was This was someone who got thrusted into a position that she just didn't want. And that's what made the finale of that first arc so satisfying, because you could see the transformation, like physically and emotionally, of her becoming who she was meant to be. And I feel like that's what is like she's the one that kind of like holds everything together. I mean, she is like the personification of good.
Yes.
She sees the best in people even when they show her their worst. And, you know, that's the kind of person that, you know, little girls should be looking up to. Yes, she wasn't perfect, because nobody is perfect. And like that's what made her such a great heroine to me.
I really, bringing it back to season 1's ending, I won't spoil anything, but then there's a great like monologue that Usagi does when the battle's over, when it's just kind of silence and you're just looking at the Arctic and the cold and everything, and it's just her talking about her wishes of just being a normal teenager. Really powerful in the Japanese like subbed version. So definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Darren, would you like to share?
Yeah, of course. As first watching, I mean, my first exposure was the Deke dub. Let's be real. But I just thought she was so annoying as a kid. I was just like, what is wrong with this chick? I was Team Ray all the way, and when she like slaps her, I just think it's the greatest thing that ever happened. But I mean, looking back at her as an adult, and I'm just rewatching all of these episodes, it's like it makes me see more and more like I'm a Usagi. We're all an Usagi in some way, you know. Like we have these strong desires to kind of just to give up and eat tons of food and, you know, like sleep in, and you know, the world is always going to be there, and when the world needs you, it's like you need to step up, and she does every time. Every once in a while, she does need a slap to the face, even from Ami at times, who's you know, arguably the nicest person on earth. But it's like we all need that, right? You know, like we all need that to be like the best version of ourselves. And knowing that, you know, even though our friends slap us in the face, they're going to forgive us and they're going to support us and all of that. So I identify with her a lot more than I did before. But, you know, I'm still a big Ray fan, so
she's great.
That back.
She's great.
She's a firecracker, definitely. Nice. Really love these things you guys shared about Sailor Moon, but let's go ahead and move on to Mamoru, Tuxedo Mask.
If you didn't have a crush on him growing up, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
like yeah, I mean, everybody did. Let's be real.
Yeah,
it was those purple pleated pants and that green blazer.
It takes confidence to pull off a look like that. So
yeah,
I'm just saying.
Is this why I like tall guys so much? I mean,
so I was doing some like quick like wiki searches. He's actually not that tall based on like the stats. I think he's like 5'9". And so like that's not that tall. No. He just looks really tall because Usagi's so short, which is why I identify with her so much. Shout out to the petite ladies.
Oh, Tuxedo Mask, or otherwise known as Prince Endymion. So, like, I'm sure everybody on the internet has seen that meme where he's like, "My job here is done, but you didn't do anything," and then he goes away. Yeah, like, I mean, that trope is very much like a shonen anime trope where that character comes in to do the thing and then it leads into the attack and all of that stuff. Because the 90s anime is very much like a monster of the day kind of a setup, which is fine. I love a monster of the day show because those monster designs are super cool.
Yes, they are.
They're really, really cool. Some of them are so absolutely freaking bonkers. But I personally do not like Mamoru Chiba or Darien at all. Like, I'm not a big fan of his because there is someone that is much better. There's someone that is much better than him that comes along. But even though I prefer the 90s anime to Sailor Moon Crystal personally, but the Sailor Moon Crystal portrayal of Tuxedo Mask and Prince Endymion is much better because he does more things. He's still very much like the support husband, like, believe in yourself, and she's like, I'm good. Like, I don't really need you here, but okay. Like, I'm not gonna listen to a man, but fine. It's just so funny. But yeah, like he's cool, but like I like so much about the series is that like it flips like the damsel in distress trope on its head, and it's reversed, right? So many like in the screenshot from the first movie, like it's about saving him. Like, it's not about him having to save her. Like, and it's always that dynamic has always been there in Sailor Moon. It's whenever he's in danger, like, she is there to save him. She's like, that's my man. Like, I'm gonna go save my man. And I love that for her. But I still think he sucks. At least in the 90s anime, he sucks. He's so mean to her, especially in season 2. He's so mean. He's so mean.
And that's why I kind of enjoy. I'm glad that I watched Crystal, because I think since it kind of sticks closer to the manga, you really see I feel like Mamo-chan is more of a better guy in Crystal.
Yeah,
you believe their love story more in that series. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn with him too, because he's and then I guess you could bring this up here, but like he's 18 in the original, the classic series, but in the manga he's supposed to be 16.
Yeah.
So him dating a 14-year-old in the beginning of the series is kind of like,
that's one of the weird things from the original anime. I'm like, he's in college talking to a middle school girl. That's not okay. It's pretty weird. So let's not do that. Yeah. But I'm glad that they aged him down in Crystal. Which because that was the age that he was in the manga. Yeah. So I'm glad that they did that because that was a weird choice.
It was. So for those that
there were
know,
so many weird choices, though. Let's be honest.
This
was the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, at least Motoki Andrew, the guy, their friend that worked at the arcade shop, called him out on it in one of the episodes. He's like, I don't see those. I don't see them as I see them more as little sisters. Basically, is what he said. Yeah. And then Mamoru had this like weird like kind of face.
Yeah.
Which is. Yeah. So, for I don't know if you guys knew, but now Takeuchi was the creator of Sailor Moon, the manga, but then the actual anime in the 90s was, I think, a mainly male team.
Yeah, most of the production team of Sailor Moon of the animated series is produced by men, and with like
that explains the upskirt shots.
And also, Kazuko Tadano was the original character designer for season 1 and 2, and Kazuko Tadano was the one that was responsible for the character designs in the Sailor Moon Eternal movies. So that's why the characters look so much closer to the 90s anime in the Sailor Moon Eternal movies because they got the original character designer to do the designs for those movies.
I like that you bring up the design because I know. I think some of us like dig the costume designs and character designs and everything. And having this image right here, like Princess Serenity's famous dress is based off of a Corinthian panel. Or
that's
post.
Ionic.
Or Ionic? Ah, yes, an Ionic post, right?
Column?
Capital? Yes.
Yeah.
Karen.
That classics degree is going towards something.
Yay for education.
Yeah, really love these designs that they have.
And we have, and speaking of like, while we're on the subject of the fashion, if you in season 2, when you meet the Ayakashi sisters or the Spectre sisters, Koan or Katsi in the Geek dub her design is based on a Mugler dress. Like it's right off of a Mugler runway. Like it's incredible. Like that's where that character design came from. It's really cool. So if you look up like Mugler Sailor Moon, you'll see a picture of Koan and next to one the model of wearing basically the exact same outfit. So many of the illustrations that are in the manga are designs that were lifted from like 90s fashion. So it's really cool to see that.
I think Calaveras too, right?
Yeah, Calaveras. Yeah.
Love the manga fashion. Like every time I just like ate it up. Every time they would show them kind of just like the one with them in the black dresses. So amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else to add about Mr. Chiba Mamoru? His name translates to Protector of Earth.
Aside from him being creepy?
Yeah, being like a total fuckboy and an asshole in the 90s anime. Like nothing more to really add. Like I'm still real mad about how he's like, oh, I had a dream that Usagi dies, but I'm not gonna tell her. Right? I'm just gonna push her away and make her cry.
I did not understand that.
This is a message to men. Like, communicate your emotions and your feelings to your partner.
He's going full Edward on her.
Yeah. Like, don't push them away. Like, so frustrating.
He was really good eye candy. That's all I've got to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to Chibi Moon, Chibi Usa. I mean, like, one thing good about Mamoru is that he was very protective of his ladies, even including Chibi Usa, which is his future daughter. So yeah.
And again, some really, really awkward interactions there.
Yes, yeah. Right there. Her when she falls from the 30th century, she lands right on top of Usagi and ends up kissing Mamoru, which is awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, has a crush on Mamoru. I'm like, girl, that's your dad from the future. Stop. It's weird. But still, this is my favorite, where she has the toy gun and she's like, give me the silver crystal or die. and Chibi Usa there is like 5. So it's like it's so good. I love it.
Ooh. But one thing I really enjoy about their relationship is that even though they're supposed to be mother and daughter, they have like a very like sister-like relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were very like big sister, little sister when they were both in the same when they were in 20th century Tokyo together, which is such a cute dynamic. And in that season, honestly, like my favorite episode of all time. I watch it every year on my birthday. It's the episode where all 5 of the Inner Guardians fight the Spectre sisters. Like it's because it plays one of my favorite songs from the Japanese version of the soundtrack. It's oh my god, it's so good. I love that episode so much. But yeah, like their dynamic is really, really cute. I've always thought that it was weird that they're like both fighting over Mamoru. It's like that is a child. Like it's quite literally your daughter. Like, why are you jealous? like it's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Can I rate?
Oh,
here's
Black
another
Lady.
Yeah.
Black Lady. So when Chibi Usa succumbs to some of the dark side, she turned into a character named the Black Lady. And yeah, here's another image of some fashion juxtaposed with some of the anime drawing or manga.
Mm-hmm.
There was some serious male gaze going on with her transformation into Black Lady.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like close up of the butt growing,
mm-hmm.
of the boobs growing.
Mm-hmm.
So many problems and issues. So many.
Yeah.
I do have to say that like one of my favorite relationships in the show is the relationship between Chibiusa and Hotaru.
So
I
good.
feel like their dynamic is just so sweet. Like they just understand each other in a way that none of the other Sailor Scouts really do.
Yeah.
And they're just so precious together. And so like they are adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially since Chibiusa is, she's not in her own world. She's like kind of a
A stranger in her own.
stranger.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Hotaru, her character, was basically that. Because she's being raised by a bunch of villains and everything. So, but in her heart and everything, she wasn't like that. So and everyone else kind of in her school made her feel like an outcast too. So glad she found that friendship with Chibiusa.
Yeah, I really identified very strongly with Hotaru, like as a character, especially as I got older. Because like when I watched the original Japanese run the first time through, I really like gravitated towards the inner Senshi. And then as I got older and rewatched it, like Hotaru really stood out as like someone that I like really identify with, because like I understood what it felt like to be the outsider of the group, because like she was in most respects like the one that kind of didn't belong in that group. And so like she became quickly like my favorite.
Yes, and we'll definitely talk about how badass she is later on too, because there's a reason why she's not really around too. So any last words for Chibiusa?
Another thing for Sailor Moon Crystal, Chibiusa's portrayal in Crystal is much better than the 90s anime. I actually really like Chibiusa a lot in Crystal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you there too. I think it's because in Crystal they also kept her original age of 900 years old, right?
Yeah.
So she hasn't quite awakened, and
Yeah.
I guess she's like kind of awakening in different levels. So definitely an interesting story behind her. So let's move on to the inner Senshi. It looks like we're kind of at 12:12 and we're rating over at 1, so let's try to get through some of these. Oh man, I wish we could talk about this more, because I love this series.
I apologize for being a little long-winded. I love this show so much. I'm sorry.
No.
You are not allowed to apologize.
Yeah.
About planning over
much
Sailor Moon.
appreciated.
I refuse.
Yes, I'm glad that I've found like some friends to talk about this show with. Not that many people familiar with the anime.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do like a rapid fire, like.
Yeah.
Like Ami for me is like Precious Bean, please protect her.
Period. Absolutely.
Definitely like that she was the brains of the group. Approached a lot of things with a tactical mind. And I think that showed more in Sailor Moon Crystal.
Oh, look at the colors. Look at those colors in that screenshot. Look at the colors in that screenshot. So good. Yeah, Ami, incredible. Such a good, like, not a foil to Usagi, but like it's like you should study. like you need to go to class. Yeah, she's great. Like Ami is so great, and her character development and her like growing into her power, but like still being true to herself. Chef kiss. Love her.
Karen, would you like to add to Ami? Mizuno Ami. Let's see. So I added these slides in here just to kind of show her relationship with Sailor Moon. Because she kind of felt like an outcast because people thought she was a snob because she was kind of the smart one. But then Usagi never really treated her like that,
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed. She always like what DJ mentioned, telling her to relax a little bit, because I agree. Now and then she'd mention something and the rest of them would be like, oh, why are you talking about studying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see with Mars. Karen, she's your favorite.
Of of the inners, yeah, I've always loved Mars. I'm just a passionate person. I love the passion that flows from within her and how it has a physical manifestation of her, with all of her element of fire. But like the dynamic that she has with Usagi is a lot of fun. A lot of humor comes out of it, I think. And but she, she's in a lot of ways she's alone, like a lot of like the other girls. She doesn't have that traditional nuclear family setup, and she kind of, I think this outer like hard shell is kind of a product of that. She finds that family again with the inner senshi, and especially with Usagi, who I think is kind of like an annoying, almost like little sister. But yeah, I just think they're so fun together, and this is just so iconic of the two of them. The tongues out.
Yeah, like it's so their dynamic is probably one of my favorite dynamics of the 90s anime. Like, again, Rei is the perfect foil to Usagi. Like literally Rei is like the antithesis of what Usagi is, and they just clash over that together, which is such a fun dynamic. And to see Rei soften up to Usagi and to see Usagi kind of understand Rei's point of view, like it's like watching two new friends get to know each other. And sometimes it's rough figuring it out, but like you like this person, so you want to understand them more, and that was so much of their relationship. So like by the time you get to this moment that happens in the end of season 1, like they are so close. Like, and it's so sad.
It really is.
Yeah.
I remember watching the finale, like the full finale for the first time, and just like sobbing because of just how
bawling.
Yeah, it was just so emotional. But like to get to that point through that first arc is just and the very like last minute of the finale, it felt so satisfying. It was like one of the most satisfying arcs in my opinion.
Most definitely. Totally agree with you there, because and her badass moment right after this too.
Oh my god, yes, it's so good. It's so good.
Her confidence. I love Rei's confidence.
Yes. Also another one of the most confident Sailor Senshi, Jupiter.
Mako-chan.
And like a huge fan favorite, like across the board, from casual Sailor Moon fans that like never really watch the series that much, but like honestly a huge fan favorite, like across the board. Like again, like Makoto or Lita, like was like I at first when I was a kid, like I'm like, oh, Sailor Jupiter's cool, but like as I got older and obviously like understanding like being like an out queer person, like seeing a character like Makoto who is both so like who can be conceived as being very hard, but also she's also like very soft and feminine at the same time too. So she has this duality of a character that I think is really compelling, and she's just like she's badass. She's so cool, like, and hardworking, and again like. That her intro episode in season 1 where she literally like throws that dude to the ground is amazing. Like, yeah, like it's so good.
Yes.
She also has that kind of like delicate, softer side where she bakes cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She likes pink. She shares her food with Usagi. I mean, gotta love her.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I just love how well-rounded she was, because like she could kick ass, she can cook up a storm. She was also super boy crazy, but like I mean but she was also really sensitive too. And like there was something about her that like I think every girl was like, that's kind of like who I want to be, because like she was just so good at almost everything and kick ass. So I mean, you can't go wrong. Like,
yeah, like, and something just I wanted to mention just about all the Sailor Guardians in general. Like, there are so many like typical like anime tropes that the characters all kind of fall into, but they twist all of those tropes on their head because those characters are so dynamic. They're not one note portrayals of these kind of typical archetypes. Like, they're fully rounded people, so they actually feel three-dimensional. So that's what I also think why the show holds up really well is that. Yes, there are those typical anime tropes that you see, like the girl that wants to be the pop star, the one that's a priestess, the one that likes martial arts, like the one that likes school, and the one that's clumsy and likes to eat. Like, all those are archetypes that we see in anime all the time. And a lot of the time, a lot of those shows kind of like fall on those archetypes and don't do anything else with them. They manage to take all those archetypes and to make them into full, well-rounded characters that people have loved for generations.
Definitely. And then you mentioned the pop star. You got Sailor Venus over here. The first to awaken as Sailor V.
My personal favorite of the inner Guardians. She's so cool. They think that she's originally the Moon Princess, even though she was just the first to awaken. But like, she's a baddie. She's been doing her thing by herself for a while, and that's kind of made her like a social outcast, like within her school. That she has these desires to want to be a pop star, but she has this responsibility of being Sailor V, so she can't really engage with a lot of the stuff that happens at school. So when she manages to be on the volleyball team and has to quit because of her responsibilities, it's like that, like, again, like, sometimes we don't get those kind of like deeper characterizations or those notes about characters in shows, and you see how well-rounded and how strong Minako is, and also she's boy crazy and she's goofy and just like Usagi. Like, she's awesome.
Yeah, of the inner Senshi, I feel like she's the most playful. I feel like because of all the responsibility that she does carry on her shoulders, she has to like almost find that playfulness to kind of like balance herself out so that she doesn't go off the deep end. And she's just so funny. I feel like she's the funniest of the inner Senshi. Also, her relationship with Artemis is quite possibly the cutest relationship because they really have each other's backs, and you can just tell that friendship is just so deep and so strong, and I love them together.
Yeah, I feel like I discounted her a little bit when I was watching it as a kid, because I feel like maybe I missed a few episodes or something. I don't know what was going on, but I was just like, oh, there's another blonde one. What is she doing here? But I really, especially in my rewatches as an adult, I've really started to appreciate her a lot more. And she's just cool, like, she's just, there's something that's very like independent and like unapologetic about her that I really like. And I still have my treasured Sailor V pop from Dave. I still gaze upon it and think, like, man, Minako is kind of awesome.
It's funny that you mentioned that she's just another she was just another blonde and everything. But then I think in the manga, one thing that they didn't bring up in the classic series is that, like, I guess in kind of like royalty, you kind of have like a body double or a double just for security purposes. So she was kind of that for Usagi in the Silver Millennium, and I think even in the reincarnated states too.
Oh, yeah. She was her Keira Knightley.
Yeah, she was.
That's a perfect reference. There's also that episode where like she's brushing Usagi's hair and she like gets some of her hair on her, and she gets mistaken. And like that scene where she's just brushing her hair is one of like the sweetest moments, I think, in that first run.
Yeah.
I think even in Super, there's an episode where the witches five think that Usagi is Sailor Moon, so they go after her. But then Minako dresses up as Sailor Moon, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I guess
Can't
you're
quite pull
wrong."
off the hairstyle.
Yeah. See, like they like use like and that's the one thing that's like the last time that they ever used the disguise pen. Like was that moment in S, like, and then you never saw it again.
Those dangling storylines, you know, it happens.
It happens.
When you have so many different like wands and sticks and stuff like that, at some point one of them
has to go.
So let's go ahead and move on with the Outer Senshi, some of our favorites.
The best.
The Outer Senshi did not get enough credit during the original run, and that still makes me angry. They were one of the best parts of that series, and I just they were underutilized. They didn't translate it well. Everything was poorly done. They deserve better. Team Outer Senshi.
Yeah, I love 90s anime Sailor Moon S. Like, I love it so much. Because they're so cool. They are so cool, and they're so good together, and they're super powerful. And I love them so much. And one of my favorite things.
Oh, that moment!
Oh my god, yes. Sailor Moon
I
S
feel attacked, Dave.
Yeah.
Attacked.
Sailor Moon S, I think, is my favorite part of the series. And it was directed by Kunihiko Ikuhara. And if you're not familiar with Ikuhara's work, Ikuhara has gone on to do things like Revolutionary Girl Utena and some other series that have been out since then. So like all of like the Ikuhara stuff is very like weird and dark and very queer. Like, and like their stuff is so good. Like Mawaru Penguin Drum is another series that Ikuhara did as well, which is also very gay. They're such a good director. I love them so much. And this season had a shift in the character designer, and the character designer was Ikuko Ito for season 3, which the art in this season is so good. It's so good. It makes me want to cry. It's so good.
It is really good.
And this is where the series kind of really takes a turn. It gets a little bit more mature. It gets a little bit darker. At this point, like the inner guardians, especially Sailor Moon, is like, I know who I am and I know my responsibilities is what I have to do as the reincarnated princess of the moon and all of that. But like this arc is, oh my god, it's so good.
I think we could probably take a moment here to even talk about not just Uranus and Neptune as a lesbian couple, which in the original run they made them cousins, which was a little weird. But we could also talk about we could talk about the other characters that they've changed. Zoisite and Kunsite. They made them male and female when in the original dub they're both gay males and stuff. And then also what was I?
And in this season, no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Super S. What was weird is that Zirconia was male in the dub, but like Zirconia is female originally in Super S, which is like I don't know why they decided to make that change for Zirconia. Like I thought it was weird. It was really weird that they try to play up like, oh, they're cousins. It's like, no, I have a lot of cousins and we do not embrace like that. Not like that at all.
It's a strange creative choice.
Yeah.
It was a choice, but it was strange.
Yeah. Cloverway, I don't know what y'all were thinking, trying to like pass this off as, oh yeah, they're cousins. Like, no, babe, they're
like
those are lesbians.
When they were sitting down. Yeah, when they were sitting down watching the original Japanese anime, like the American executives, when they were watching it, going, "I think we should make them cousins." Like, how did that come about? It's frustrating. Is what it is.
It's like it's easier if you just let them be gay. Like it's easier if you just did that.
Yeah, because they had to edit so much of it in order for it to fit this cousin narrative that makes zero sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. None. What I love that they acknowledged in Crystal specifically is that Uranus embodies both genders. Like Sailor Uranus is canonically like gender fluid or non-binary, which is cool. And I've always loved that. And I wish they had addressed that like directly in the 90s anime, but they didn't. But what they did do is when you watch the episodes where you meet Haruka and Michiru, when you see Haruka in their school uniform, they don't draw Haruka, and they did it in Crystal as well in the screenshot. They don't draw Haruka with eyelashes until they acknowledge that Haruka is like non-binary. And when they acknowledge that like Haruka it presents as feminine as well, that's when they draw eyelashes on them. So I thought that was a really cool thing that they did to kind of like mask that. And also what I appreciate, even in the 90s anime, like they're like, wow, like Haruka is very hot. And then they're like, oh, Haruka's a girl. Haruka is very hot. Like, and they just like, it just wasn't an issue. So and they just all just like agreed across the board. Haruka is very hot. So
I mean, were they wrong?
They're not wrong. Look at it. Look at the material. God, they're the best. They're the best.
Let's talk about how strict they were sticking to their mission and everything. How did you guys feel about that? And oh my gosh, this moment!
Stop! Why? Why are you doing this to us?
Yeah.
I don't understand, Dave. You're supposed to be a gracious host.
This is a safe space. You're not supposed to come here and trigger us with this devastating moment of this series.
There's a mutiny with the panelists next.
I feel like that was such a powerful moment, though. Too.
It was
it pushed Sailor Moon again to her limits.
Yeah,
and then even this right here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Sailor Star series, but sticking to their mission. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Sailor Galaxia. That's wild. Oh yeah, they're just so good. They're super powerful.
My God.
And are we shifting to Pluto? Are we shifting to Pluto now?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good old
heavenly.
Setsuna Mayo. She's the best. Like, look at her. Look at her. She's so cool. Like, again, as to why I also don't like King Endymion or whatever. That he was like, "Hey, Setsuna, you are going to watch the Gate of Time forever. You cannot leave. You have to stay here. You have to be the bouncer of our whole entire fucking of time. So you have to stay here forever." Like, and it's so sad. And I love that. Like, I love the Luna P and her talking to Sailor Pluto through the Luna P ball. Like, it's like, oh, poor Chibiusa. She's like, I'm lonely here. She's like, no, you have to stay. Yeah, she can't even. Yeah, Tim. She can't even. Yeah, she can't even leave to go get boba. Like, she has to be there in case anybody shows up.
She's so damn pretty.
Yeah, and she's beautiful.
She is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Her entire
really helped me as a brown girl.
I was just about to mention that.
It was just like the fact that the just prettiest one was the dark
was
one.
The brown girl. Mm-hmm.
And the hair.
Period.
Love the hair. And she's like, sleeves? I don't need sleeves.
Yeah. And her attack is called Dead Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
she whispers it.
Yes.
Yeah, Karen has the bun.
Her voice too.
And the bun.
She has the bun in Pluto's honor.
And the shirt. And the.
Hey.
She's the best.
Like that Art Nouveau style.
And I'm a Scorpio, so of course.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And then
arguably, she has the coolest weapon as well.
Mm-hmm. Garnet
badass.
And what I love about the arc of this part of the anime and the manga is that so I did a book report in high school about like Japanese mythology in Sailor Moon and about how this arc is about the this legend of the three talismans in like Japanese like folklore, where the talismans are a crystal ball, a mirror, and a sword, and those all correspond to the three items that the outer guardians each have. Like Sailor Pluto has the garnet rod, the crystal at the top of the rod. Sailor Neptune has the mirror, and Sailor Uranus has the sword, and those three talismans together created the Holy Grail. Like that's
yes.
So I was explaining those parallels in like 11th grade in high school. Just like, oh my god, they're so cool. They're so
They are so cool. I like in Crystal that they explain that they were more powerful than the original inner senshis because, and they never interacted with any of them, is because they were busy doing their own battles on their own in the outer parts of the universe.
Out of the solar system, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're awesome.
As a kid, I always wish that they had a spin-off series with the three of them.
know.
I felt like they deserved so much more storytelling.
So
I
good.
know. I would love that. I would love if like Naoko Takeuchi like oversaw like a new spin-off anime that just focused on them and what they do. Like that would be so cool if they did that.
Looking hot and kicking ass. I would eat that. I would eat that up. Like I'm like, sign me up now.
Look at our hot queer parents fighting evil baddies in space. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, and they have such good moments too. Like really big moments, even though they're barely in the series, they have very powerful moments as characters.
Rach
yeah, the one that we see the least, but it's so cool.
Yes.
So cool.
She just had to go through so much. Like I feel for her. Wataru had like the roughest upbringing.
Yeah. And like exponentially worse in Crystal because it's following the manga. Like man, that double page spread is so good. Oh my god, that's so cool. I love manga. Like so cool. Yeah, like she had it really, really rough. I mean, and she is the Sailor Guardian of death and destruction. I mean,
heck
come on. I love that the whole conceit of the third season of Sailor Moon S was like, oh, if they get the talismans, Sailor Saturn's gonna come back and we're all going to die. Like, they're like, do not wake her up. Don't do it. Oh man. Oh, Pharaoh 90. Also another cool design. The coolest bad guys. The coolest.
Agreed.
And the two of them together. So cool.
Yeah.
I just want all of the clothes. Give me the clothes.
The fashion is top tier. It's so good.
I'm not sure if I enjoyed how they treated Hotaru's dad in Crystal compared to the classic series. Because they just made him straight evil.
Yeah.
But
it was
him
definitely darker in the manga, for sure. Yeah. They kind of eased up on Tomoe in the anime.
So cute. My precious babies.
And that's
so cute.
And that's new art. Like this looks like either that's really good fan art or this is like the Eternal movie art. Like looks good.
It might be fan art actually.
Yeah, it's really good fan art that looks like the stuff. My favorite villain.
Good moment.
My favorite villain. My favorite villain of all time. Nehelenia is the baddest bitch. I love her so much.
Yeah.
I love Nehelenia so much.
Yeah,
DJ, you're my new favorite person on the planet.
This is literally my favorite thing in the world. I'm so sorry.
No, Super S, I feel like Nehelenia was definitely like, despite the series kind of being a little bit of a slow arc, I feel like the payoff with the main villain, especially going into Sailor Stars, I really love like her.
Like, and I love that, like, kind of like little mini arc going into that, leading into Stars, like where Nehelania has been sealed away, and then you just hear like the voice of Sailor Galaxia being like, "Hey, girl, hey, remember when you thought you killed Sailor Moon?" And Chibiusa said, "Guess what, girl? They're still alive, and they are living life. Like they're in high school, they're having a great time. Aren't you mad? Did you hate that? What if I helped you kill them for me?" Like it
was like the perfect like Mean Girls setup. It was
Yes,
great. I loved it.
Was.
I love it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Here we got the other villains. We're coming up to 20 minutes left on our. Man, I wish we had so much more time.
I love Queen Beryl.
Mhm.
I would live and die for that
Mhm.
crazy psychotic woman. She was
Mhm.
great.
Oh yeah, and the transformation at the final battle, that was a look. That was everything coming out of that flower. Amazing.
I definitely enjoyed the classic series portrayal of Natalia compared to Crystal, because Crystal, they made her look like Pokemon Haunter Gengar
Yeah.
at the bottom right there.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's why it looked so familiar. I was like trying to place it. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got the much more complex heavenly. What are they?
The four kings. Yeah.
Yes. Man, we
They
didn't
were
even go...
really good, like fleshed out bad guys. I feel like the villains play just as big of a role as the heroes, and they did them so well. I like, again, one of like the greatest strengths of Sailor Moon is just the characterization. Like everyone, like DJ said, like they're super fleshed out. They're not one dimensional. They have their own motivations, and a lot of the times you kind of like, oh, like I identify with them. Like I get why they're doing what they're doing. And so it's I need to rewatch the entire thing again. It's been a while, so
it's worth a rewatch. It's absolutely worth it, because I mean it's just so good. Yeah, so it looks like we're like showing like a lot of the side characters and other characters. Should we talk about the Sailor Starlights?
You can,
yes, please.
Again, I want like, oh god, I just want now, after seeing the 2 Eternal movies, I really hope that we get the Sailor Stars Crystal or Eternal versions of that, because we need to see the Sailor Starlights as they should have been.
Yes,
like they're so good.
So for those not familiar, in the US, they stopped after Super S, right? Because
they couldn't keep up the cousin cover up.
Yeah. Because the Starlights, if you guys aren't familiar, are males, but then when they transform, they turn female. So yeah, I think they're trying to stray away from that.
Yeah, they couldn't reconcile that in any way in the early 2000s when Stars would have been dubbed at that time. They couldn't reconcile that at all. Which I'm just glad that they just did a straight up translation and of it in the new dub that's on Hulu and Crave in Canada. It's Stars is so good. It's really, really good. I like it a lot. And that's where the series ends after that. But something that I found really funny in the Eternal movies is because we're looking at this slide and you see Ray's grandpa, like, and I was like, wait, Ray's grandpa's hot? Like,
They Colonel Sanders, Gray's grandpa.
big anime Colonel Sanders energy in the Eternal movies.
When I was watching the movies, I was like so confused because I was like, am I watching the right thing? Because I haven't fully seen the new version
of Crystal.
Crystal. I haven't seen Crystal yet, for the most part. I've seen bits and pieces, but like seeing Grandpa, I was like, wait a minute, did they change him? Who is this dude?
Yeah, and the manga, he was hot Colonel Sanders. But they made him this weird little like
old man.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ranma one half at all, but like they made him into like Haposai. Like, and I'm like, this is what a weird choice to do that.
The 90s were a wild time, guys.
It really was.
Oh man. I guess we could talk about this whole thing, the Team Mamoru or Team Seiya, because I know we touched upon it a little earlier.
Seiya all day.
I have to agree. I mean, I feel like they did Seiya dirty, to be honest, because you knew that Usagi was meant to be with Momo-chan. So it's like they just did Seiya dirty, and Seiya deserved better. End of story.
Yeah, Seiya deserved better. Like, I just so good, but it's just so funny. Like, because Seiya's always like, but what about me though? Usagi's like, she's like, I have a man already, but like you're really hot, and it's hard because like he's away in college or whatever he's doing. He went
to America.
Oh yeah, that's right. He went to America. Yeah, to study abroad. That's right. Oh my god. Yeah, Seiya is far cooler. Like Seiya can sing. Mamoru can't sing.
Although I think in Crystal, one of the endings is supposed to be Mamoru singing or something.
Oh, so yeah, and Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3, there's a closing theme that is just like Mamoru twirling his little cape around. Like, it's great. It's great. Oh my god. Man, Crystal Season 3 is so much fun. Like, I don't really like Sailor Moon Crystal very much because it's marred by not having a big enough budget to support such an iconic series, which I guess in Japan, they're like, people still like Sailor Moon. And we're like, yes, like, what do you mean? Like, the world wants you guys to invest more money into Sailor Moon. But like, by the time we got to Crystal Season 3, it was so much fun to watch. And the Eternal movies were really fun, even though I think that those movies should have just been a series. Like 26 episodes would have been great. But they're still really fun movies.
Karen,
yeah, that was my biggest gripe with those movies, was that they felt super rushed.
They're really rushed.
Yeah, they were rushed. Karen, who do you pick? Mamoru or Seiya?
I pick Haruka.
Haruka! Yeah.
Honestly, the better choice.
I don't think I have a picture of Haruka flirting with Usagi. So,
I mean, in Crystal, like Haruka, like when they meet for the first time, like Haruka has like the tuxedo mask, like eyeglasses on and like a cape, and she just like hops down and kisses Usagi and flies away, and I'm like, yes, the chaotic queer energy we need of just like hot people kissing people and then flying away with no explanation. I love it. I love it so much.
Man, I wish we could talk more about the series. This is so short, and we didn't get to. I'm gonna have to skip over the trivia. Maybe you could save that for next time. But I just wanted.
I need to study.
Same.
I just wanted to give folks a chance to enter the giveaway. So we're still giving away stickers for the AAPI RiseUP, and then also a $25 gift card to Beehive Collectibles. I was gonna save this for the trivia, but I'll go ahead and do the include it in the automatic raffle. So DJ Karen and Rach, just feel free to enter it too. !RiseUp, I believe, is the keyword.
I'm gonna quickly do that right now.
Yes. So we have these Q-Poskets figurines. Thank you, Rach. I see you entering the giveaway.
I did see a question in the chat.
Yes, are there questions?
From Cicero?
Oh, Cicero. Let's see.
Something that I think about often. Would you all like to see an iteration of Sailor Moon with shonen style fighting scenes? Why or why not?
So Crystal does a little bit of that. So in Crystal, which is cool, that we see like some of the attacks that they did in the 90s anime, but like in different shots. It's not just the stock footage. That's beautifully well animated, but like you get to see them do attacks like in the air or whatever. So there's a little bit of that of Crystal, but like if we're talking like My Hero Academia levels of like fighting, that would be super dope. I'd be down for it.
Hey, I'd be down for it too. Just to get some more Sailor Moon, actually.
Yeah, if we can get more Sailor Moon content,
more is better. More is more.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind seeing like all the Sailor Senshi as like in like an old folks home, just reminiscing about like their past,
Mhm.
about being like, you know, the superheroes of of Earth, and like, you know, knitting, and I'd watch it too.
Yeah.
Just give me all the Sailor Moon stuff.
Yeah, I want every version of Sailor Moon possible. Like
Mhm.
like Westworld. You know how there's like
Mm.
there's like a Shogun world. I want a Shogun version
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
of Sailor Moon. I want the Western version of Sailor Moon. I want the Indian version of Sailor Moon.
Mhm.
Just do them all.
I'm still waiting for them to eventually. Oh, that's so dope. That's so dope. I love that. Of like feudal Japan.
Yeah.
That's
I
amazing.
love that. That's
I really
great.
hope that they at some point adapt the codename Sailor V
Ooh.
into an anime. Like, because that's, you know, this is canon and they never adapted that into an anime. So it'd be cool to see that. Or I would love to see them like do like a follow-up series that actually follows Chibiusa and her team. That would be cool if we got to see that. I mean, if we got into uncharted territory with Sailor Moon and something new, I would love that. I would really, really love that.
Yeah, that Chibiusa series would probably start out with her in therapy, because she definitely
Oh,
needs it.
she needs to go to therapy for sure.
Dude, especially Chibiusa being a 900-year-old person stuck in a little girl's body.
Mhm.
Definitely need some therapy. So DJ, I'm not sure if you were able to enter, or Karen, I don't know if you wanted to enter in the.
Oh no! I'll say that. We'll save that for
No,
somebody else, so they can have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm moving. I can't get prizes.
Yeah, we'll let somebody else have it.
That's why I'm in a baby room right now.
So yeah, let's see what else is there. If there's any other questions in the chat, feel free to ask. Let's go ahead and start wrapping things up too before we pick the winner. Karen, is there anything you'd like to share, or where can people find some of your work?
Yeah. So I myself am not much of a content creator, but in my Monday through Friday existence, I am a consultant for the California State Legislature with our Legislative Women's Caucus. And so that ends up kind of spilling over into some other extracurriculars. So as inspiring as Sailor Moon was for young girls like myself to go out and do our part to save the world, so to speak, I do like to encourage young girls and young women to get engaged with public policy and change things within their communities and run for office, make those big decisions. I mean, you don't just have to have you don't just need a silver crystal to to make some change in your world and protect your friends. So there's a really cool organization called Ignite National, and you can go to ignitenational.org. And they help empower women to get involved in public policy, run for office, all kinds of things like that. So we do need more ladies up there. I mean, the empowered women empower women. So there you can be a real life Sailor Moon in your own right.
It's awesome.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Karen. I dropped the link in the chat if you guys wanted to take a look at that. We'll
Thank you,
look at it
Dave.
right here too. So Ignite, nice. Rach, where can we find some more of your stuff? Your work.
Well, we stream on Twitch every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific. We talk about a variety of nerdy fandom stuff, and we invite guests on. We do something similar to what we just did right now, so check it out if you like podcasts, live podcasts.
Nice. Thank you, Rach. And DJ, where can we find more of your work?
You can find me pretty much on the internet at OheyDJ on everything. So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all and Twitch. I stream occasionally. I want to start doing that more. I really enjoy it when I do it. But you can also go to my website. It's just djkirkland.com. and that's where you can find more of my work and read interviews and things like that I've been in. And if you want to buy my graphic novel, The Black Mage, again, anywhere that fine comic books are sold, you can pick it up. You can pick it up there. So yeah, that's The Black Mage. I've also worked on things like the Agretzko graphic novels and the Dream Daddy comic. So you can also pick up those in the Beacons link that's in the chat. That'll take you to everything. So yeah, that's where you can find me and support me.
Nice. And then again, guys, we are raising funds for Black Trans Femme in the Arts collective. So definitely, if you'd like to donate to that, I will do a post-it note sketch of your choosing. Just go ahead and send proof of donation to our Instagram right there in the chat. Otherwise, what do we have next coming up for the day? We have a whole list of programming for you guys. We're going to be raiding over to Caden Guerra. They'll be playing Overwatch.
Actually, they'll be playing Planet Zoo. There has been an update.
Nice. Okay, thank you, Rach, for the update. And then we have Killer Queen of Hearts doing tarot readings and queer chats. Jiro Moriarty, JP, who's our normal dungeon master, is doing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, Adventures in Sina Una, based off of Filipino folklore and mythology. And then we'll be wrapping things up with Rach at NerdyCurious, 7 p.m. And after party at Jazz Espiritu. A great singer, guys. Check him out. Just wanted to thank the panelists for being here. Thank you so much, DJ, Karen, and Rach. Really had fun doing this. I really wish we had more time because then there's so much more to talk about the series, and I'm glad that I found my fellow nerds that could geek out over the show. There aren't that many friends that are into this series. But
we're out there.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Let's go ahead and pick some winners, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and choose the winner for the $25 Beehive Midtown gift card. Hey Av, I see Av over there. Thanks for listening. Let's see, let me pull up Streamlabs and choose the winner real quick. So this is for the $25 gift card. If you guys know the routine, if you guys are in the chat and you have the emotes, please drop the bees in the chat. That is our signature drum roll. And 3, 2, 1. The winner of the $25 Beehive Midtown gift card is Rach.
Rigged. I'm telling you. Oh my god, that is so rigged. Do you want to redraw it?
No,
I feel bad taking it. Yeah, no, it's okay. Just redraw it. It's fine.
What?
It's fine. I didn't realize that the raffle was for this as well. It's fine. Just redraw it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I will. Let me make a note of this.
Sailor rig.
I will.
I need to go buy a lottery ticket now.
I'll get you something else, Rach. Thank you for doing that. So let's re-roll this for the $25 Beehive Midtown gift card, and the winner is Cicero.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Thank you for the awesome question too. That was a really good question.
So Cicero, if you're still in the chat, please DM us at our Instagram account. That way we could get your information to send that over to you. Thank you again for being here, and hope you enjoyed that panel. Let's do the raffle for the Q-Posket Princess Serenity figure. Normally it was supposed to be worked for with the trivia, but we'll just give it away. Picking a winner in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jackson the Girl Kind.
Yay! Congrats, Jackson! Woo!
Congratulations. Feel free to hit us up on our Instagram so we could get your details, or send us a whisper. Princess Serenity, congratulations. And then we'll go ahead and pick 10 winners. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, actually, the other folks that entered, we'll just go ahead and send you guys some AAPI stickers, because then it looks like we should have enough for you guys. So let me just take a screenshot of this, and
Yay!
we'll send you guys a whisper on how you guys could get your sticker. Again, thank you for joining us for celebrating our love for this anime, and thank you for joining us for the whole weekend of AAPI Rise Up. Oh my gosh, I really wish we had more time to talk about this, because I could go on forever about this anime and manga.
So good.
It is. But let's see. Anyone in the chat, the mods, do you guys know if Kaden is ready?
I do want to say, before we do raid over, a big thank you to Dave for hosting this, and to all of the average nerds for all of their support of the AAPI Rise Up weekend. This is a team effort, and everyone really stepped up this weekend. So thank you to you guys.
Thank you to Rach. Thanks for helping organize this too. You're like one of the main organizers, and one of the main folks that came up with this idea. So thank you for the works. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if Kaden is ready to be raided. Bear with me for one moment.
Sam says Kaden is good to go.
All right. Yep. I see them live. So let me go ahead and raid over. Again. And then, as usual, we have a quote of the day to end with. I will get to that in one moment as we prepare for the raid. Yeah, I did that correctly. Kaden, Viera. Does that look correct? Yep, looks correct. I like their little icons, the white cat, like Artemis. But yes, as we normally end our episodes, I prepared a quote of the day by Naoko Takeuchi, the creator of Sailor Moon herself. And the quote is, "The people of the world, all of them, whether it is different race, or the different language, or the different lifestyle, tend to only think about what we cannot share. But our brains are all the same. We are the same people. With everyone's strength, we can all share the same feelings. That much is obvious, but it won't come easily." So yeah.
Yes, our queen.
Naoko,
our queen.
So yeah, again, thank you guys for joining us, panelists, and thank you, chat.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
Yay. So hopefully we could do this again sometime in the near future. But yeah,
I'm down.
I'm down.
Yes. So let's go ahead and raid over to Kaden with the hashtag AAPI RiseUp. And thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Ending broadcast.